Joining me in the studio is Zainab Chaudry from the Council on American-Islamic Relations. Zainab, welcome.
Thank you.
So these terrorists were planting these bombs, they're killing innocent civilians. Their violent ideology has very little to do with religion or Islam, correct?
Absolutely. First of all, I just want to express my sincere condolences to the families of the victims in Brussels who have been impacted by these horrific attacks. The reality is that no faith or no world religion that actually believes in a God that promotes pluralism and religious harmony, interfaith harmony, condones this kind of violence. And it's an unfortunate event that these attackers happen to be Muslim or allegedly happen to be Muslim, but their actions in no way, shape, or form reflect the teachings of the religion of 1.5 billion people around the world, which is also the second largest religion and also a religion that promotes faith, promotes interfaith harmony and peace amongst people of all faiths.
The Muslim community in Brussels, Zainab, seems to be particularly isolated. Is that isolation a possible factor in radicalizing people?
Well, we know that historically there have been different factors that have contributed to the alienation of Muslim communities throughout Europe. If we compare Muslim communities in the United States versus the Muslim communities in Europe, historically there have been various factors, including religious intolerance, discrimination, lack of access to resources, economic issues that have contributed to a sense of disenfranchisement amongst some Muslims. But of course, we know that that never justifies these kind of horrific attacks, and it's something that I think needs to be part of it needs to be a factor that's considered in figuring out how can we curtail violence extremism that's conducted in the name of religion.
So how can Muslims do that?
Well, I think the question shouldn't necessarily be how can Muslims do that, because this is not a problem that is specific to any one faith group. I think that that's dangerous.
But the people who are doing this, Zainab, are doing it saying they are Muslims.
And if we look at their actions, we know that the vast majority of individuals who have left European countries to join the ranks of terrorist organizations, including ISIS, are not individuals who are devout Muslims. They are not individuals, historically studies have shown, who pray 5 times a day or who belong to a specific mosque or who are part of a community. These are mostly individuals who are lone wolves who are operating, not with a community, but outside of a community, and who are really kind of working separate from the vast majority of Muslims who reside in those neighborhoods. And it's absolutely atrocious, the fact that now we have not only families who are mourning the loss of their loved ones, but now we also have Muslims not only in Europe, not only in Brussels, but globally who are terrified of what the ramifications of these attacks are, what it's going to mean for them.
And that's the next thing I was going to ask you. How concerned are you about a backlash in Muslim communities in Europe, around the world? And isn't that exactly what terrorists want? Because creating a backlash creates social divisions. Social divisions lead terrorists to recruit people, and that leads to radicalization.
Absolutely. It helps to contribute to a ripe, fertile breeding ground for terrorist organizations. And they look to that kind of sense of alienation that's fostered amongst Muslims in the aftermath of these kind of horrific attacks that really help their cause. It helps them show that there is a disparity between Muslims and Western civilization, when in reality, there's nowhere else in the world that Islam can truly be practiced other than in a true democracy or in an environment where people have the choice of religion. They have the choice to practice freely as their faith allows them.
Zainab, I want to ask you a question about reaction on social media, on Twitter especially, after the attacks in Brussels. There was a trending topic, #StopIslam, and I was at work that day and I was very curious, what is this about? And I found it very interesting, but because most of the people who tweeted were actually slamming other people who were criticizing Muslims. And I would just want to get your reaction to some of these tweets. Stop Islam is trending is what someone is saying. Sigh, I wish people would read more and hate less. Another person, Stop Islam shouldn't be trending. Stop ISIS or ISIL should be trending. Another one, when you go on the Stop Islam hashtag and see that majority of tweets are denouncing the hashtag, faith in humanity is restored. Your reaction?
I think that says it right there. Faith in humanity is restored. And I think that social media has played such an instrumental role in helping to get the word out that this is not Islam. And people are beginning to realize that even though the individuals who are perpetrating these attacks happen to be Muslim or claim to be Muslim, they're not exemplifying the attributes of the religion itself. And so seeing this kind of reaction, I mean, I probably can't do justice to the kind of gratitude that this instills, especially amongst marginalized Muslim communities who now are on edge, who now, especially in this current political climate when we're seeing a exceptionally high rate of Islamophobia and anti-Muslim sentiment, it's reassuring to know that there are people out there who are willing to be the voice of reason and who aren't afraid to say that it's not okay to lump all Muslims together along with what these horrific actions or these terrorists are doing, these horrific actions that they're engaged in.
Zainab Chaudry, a very important discussion. We certainly appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.